From Karachi, Brigadier Javed Hussain. From Delhi, Harsimrat Kaur Badal of the Shiromani Akali Dal. From Karachi, Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao. From Delhi, Meenakshi Lekhi of the BJP. From Islamabad, Muhammad Siddiqui Al Farouk, spokesperson of the PMLN. From Delhi, General G.D. Bakshi. From Islamabad, Brigadier Simon Sharaf, Central Secretary Defence of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Islam. And from Delhi, Maroof Raza. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's open the debate. They say it's a scuffle, Meenakshi Lekhi. A statement issued, Meenakshi Lekhi, by the Pakistan Foreign Office says it's a scuffle. Isn't that totally laughable? That he died in a scuffle.
It is laughable. It is laughable because this is the second murder happening in Pakistani jail in 3 months period, within a period of 3 months. And we have seen how they have treated our POWs in 1999 and how we treated their POWs in 70s. And then there have been issues with decapitation of our soldiers in the previous times. We have seen how they have been causing ISIs functioning in various modules in India. We know exactly how they function, and we know how the jihadi minds work. It's an insult to Islam, the way this country is going.
Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, 6 prisoners enter his cell and he's systematically killed. How is this a scuffle, sir?
Well, Mr. Goswami, let's not forget we are living in an area where such things are not uncommon in jails. Your films are full of such incidents that to get one prisoner killed, another person is sent inside, number one. It happens in America, it happens in Europe.
It doesn't happen in India, it may be commonplace in
people
Pakistan.
Have all this while been saying that it is a very unfortunate incident that has happened. It shouldn't have happened to begin with. We are very sorry as far as the incident is concerned. But look at the language, Indian media is using, Pak butchers and this.
Of course, butchers.
For one incident, you want one nation pitched against the other nation.
Soft.
Keep the proportions in sight, please.
Sir, I'd like to ask you, I'd like to ask one of your fellow panelists in Pakistan, for example, since you take offense to the use of the word butchery. Now, let me tell you this, sir. As per the preliminary report prepared by the Deputy IGP Prisons, a man called Malik Mubashir, the accused assaulters had, and I quote, sharpened spoons to use as knives, made long and terrifying blades from pieces of empty ghee tin, and systematically collected bricks to attack Sarajit with, hit him so hard, so many times that he had a broken skull. Now I'm asking you this, sir. If this is not butchery, can you tell me what is butchery? Tell me.
No,
Air Marshal.
At individual level,
tell
yes.
Me, Air Marshal, is this butchery
individual
or
level,
not?
it is not acceptable.
Is it butchery?
But
is it butchery?
You are using the name of my nation as Pak butchers and
yes.
Pak.
Yes, because
No.
because he was butchered in a Pakistani jail under your
correct.
Can I speak to him?
I say one. I'll get a third point of view. I'll come back to you, Meenakshi Lekhi. Our guest from Pakistan in Islamabad, in Karachi, says today this is not butchery. I'd like to get in at this stage General G.D. Bakshi. If this is not butchery, I don't know what butchery is, but General Bakshi, what would you say to Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao?
Pakistan has never used such language for what Indians have been doing earlier in the past.
This is butchery.
I'm not comparing the
This is
butchery.
You do it, you don't speak
At national level, we don't exchange such
One at a time.
Say.
One at a time. General Bakshi.
Right. May I point out a very important point was made by the Air Marshal of putting the thing in perspective and not blowing it out of scale. May I just put the perspective right for you, Air Marshal? Number one, Pakistani ISI's interference in the Punjab started in 1980. 20,000 plus Indian citizens were killed in the Punjab due to the terrorism sponsored by the ISI, funded, armed, trained, equipped and sent. Then started the proxy war in Jammu and Kashmir. It has lasted for 20 years. 40,000 Indian citizens have been killed there. When we finally contained the problem in Jammu and Kashmir, we built the fence, we broke the back of the terrorist movement there. It was spread to all our through the Lashkar-e-Toiba.
General Bakshi, let's go back to the Sarajit case. Let's go back to the Sarajit case.
Citizens have been killed. 65,000 Indian citizens killed is perspective. Marshal, it is perspective. That is the perspective you need to remember when you put this isolated incident. Can you also
tell the number of people that were killed by Indian support in 1971 in Bangladesh? What are you talking? Every time there is an incident, you want to go back 15 years, 20 years. We will then stop at Babur, who invaded India in 1527.
I'd like to get Harsimrat Kaur.
For God's sake,
I'd like to get Harsimrat Kaur.
Treat every incident as one incident.
Got you converted. Babur ruled in
So one second. One second. You know, I'll tell you this. I put a challenge to our guest from Pakistan on the Newshour tonight. 1 second, gentlemen.
Well,
this country
everything should be settled then by the two sides teams.
No, Admiral.
I mean, you for every single incident, you want to make your media shout and go back to 1984.
Am I shouting?
I mean, where will the buck stop then?
Marshal, I am neither shouting nor declaiming nor elocuting. I am simply asking.
The buck will stop.
And I have 10 questions. I have 10 questions, and my questions are on Sarabjit. And I would like our guests in Pakistan, in Islamabad and Karachi to answer my questions on Sarabjit and then answer them as fairly as they can. My question
I can't hear you. Your volume is so low that at this time, I'm finding it difficult to understand.
Well, if I ask you normally, then you say I cannot hear you. That's all right, sir. My question right now is to Harsimrat Kaur Badal.
No, I am not guilty of any such answers that I will avoid a question. I am a student of history. So, I mean, on single incidents,
Harsimrat Kaur Badal would like to speak. She's a member of the Lok Sabha from the Shiromani Akali Dal and she's speaking from Delhi. Harsimrat Kaur Badal, what would you like to ask our guests in Karachi and Islamabad on the Sarabjit case tonight?
I'd just like to ask them that, let's leave the politics and the tutu meme aside. You're objecting to be called butchers. What about us whose person has been butchered? Kindly put yourself in our position and think what our nation and my state and my people are going through. So I think this is a time where if we need to introspect, I think first of all the government of Pakistan needs to at least admit what their people and what their government has done to a prisoner from India and what it has led to the relations between the two countries coming to such an extent that we are having to call each other names. But the sad part is that not only are you calling this murder a mere scuffle, you're not even talking about booking those people under whose connivance and cahoots this whole thing happened. The first thing you should be saying is apologizing for what happened, not saying that how dare you call us butchers. If you behead our jawans, if you butcher one person in January, another person in March, what do you think we're going to say? Are we going to say, oh, very good? We could say very good if you were going to say that yes, this is wrong what's been done and these people are going to be booked. This is what's been done with the superintendent. This is what's going to be done with the murderers. When you do something which receives appreciation, it will. But when you take a stance like how dare you call us this and how dare you call us that, I think it just goes to
why the cover up
of what Pakistan has come to that they cannot even admit.
Why the cover up is my next question. Meenakshi, I'm coming back to you. A solid point made there by Harsimrat Kaur Badal. Ms. Badal, I'll come back to you. Let's extend the debate. Brigadier Samson Simon Sharaf, I hope you can hear me, sir, in our studios in Islamabad. My question to you tonight is, please would you reply to the Honourable Member of Parliament from Punjab, who is asking you today that even after Sarabjit's killing, his butchery, your government is yet to take any action against the Kot Lakhpat jail authorities. Does this not prove that this was institutionalized killing? Brigadier Sharaf.
First of all, Times Now is into theorizing too much in order to ride airways and make the ratings. Shouting at guests, cornering the guests, making them stand as if they are in the
My question may be uncomfortable, but Brigadier Simon Sharaf, I don't need to take lessons
for your information.
No, I don't need to take lessons from you on how I should phrase my questions, Brigadier Sharaf. If you cannot answer my questions, that's all right.
Why don't you listen to me?
Why do you pass judgments and not answer questions? Don't tell me what Times Now needs to do. I'm asking you a question that is being asked.
You keep talking. Once you end, then I will talk.
Well, I have asked you a question, and when you answer my question, I will keep quiet. Answer my question first. Don't dodge my question.
You are supposed to be an editor-in-chief of a newspaper, and you do not even know. I am asking you a question. I am certainly. Has been suspended.
Yes, sir. I am the editor-in-chief of an Indian news channel, and every Indian is asking you today.
Some of the jail staff has already been suspended.
Every Indian is asking you today, sir.
I hope you know that.
Sir, if you want a platform, you should go to other news channels. This news channel will not ask the questions you want.
I hope you...
This
You
channel
have
will
called
not
me. I
ask
have
the
not
questions
requested
you
you to come here.
Sir, I am asking you.
In any case, I don't like coming on your talk shows.
Sir, do you have an answer?
Because
you have no
too
answer.
discourteous.
Do you want?
Yes.
Do you have an answer to my question?
I have an
asked
answer.
you a question. What was
Yes.
discourteous about my question? My question to you was, why don't you? Why don't you? My question was, why have you not acted against?
Yourself?
I've asked you the question thrice.
For God's sake, let the other person speak.
I've asked you the question thrice.
Listen to me. The jails, the relevant jail staff was suspended the same day. Don't you know about it? Don't you read newspapers? There is an inquiry going on. The government of Pakistan has condemned the incident. Every citizen of Pakistan has condemned it. I have condemned it. Civil rights organizations have condemned it. Because this is not the treatment which the prisoner deserved.
So
whatever was done was wrong. We've said it. So the government is investigating.
So this inquiry has been rejected by everyone. Most recently by the Asian Center for Human Rights, which says it does not believe that the inquiry conducted by Pakistan and has hence moved the United Nations seeking a credible probe into the extrajudicial killing of Sarajit. I'm completely aware of it.
This was not an extrajudicial killing. Please don't. Please stop coining adjectives. Please stop.
Mr. Brigadier, are you there? I lost the line with Brigadier Sharaf. The fact of the matter is, and this question goes to Brigadier Javed Hussain. Brigadier Javed Hussain, even Pakistan's Human Rights Commission does not believe that Sarabjit could have died without connivance.
And Arnab, they should have arrested the guy and booked him for.
One sec. Brigadier Javed Hussain.
Arnab,
yes, sir.
From day one, I have taken a position, and I have stated that position a number of times on Times Now, and that position is based on humanitarian grounds. Now, before I restate my position, could I very humbly suggest, do not descend so low to use bad language. Show serenity of mind, some grace. I know, I can understand Sarabjit's family's emotions.
I want you to be precise. I want you to be very precise.
I want to speak on your
you to be precise. First of all, don't be patronizing, sir. I am asking you today, what is the bad language? It is butchery, will be called butchery. It is uncomfortable, but it is butchery. Meenakshi Lekhi wants to respond to you. It is butchery is butchery.
Look,
I can't call it by any other language.
I just want to describe the act. The language is used to describe a particular act. If the act in first place was serene, then serenity would be used. If the act itself was butchery, only butchery can explain what it was all about. And I think even butchery is a softer term. You are jihadis.
Look, no one is.
What term they use if they find that serene?
No one in Pakistan.
This is how we should treat the Pakistanis in our jail. You find it so serene? You want us to do that?
Okay, you go ahead. Keep talking.
I'm not talking for the sake of talking, I'm making a point. So don't try to patronize us. We are going to describe the things the way they exist. The action itself was an action of butchery, and only butchery can explain that word.
No, my question is on inaction, Brigadier Javed Hussain. My very specific question is on inaction.
Yeah.
Right? On inaction, one of the panelists say that we have taken action. You know, sir, that the jail staff has not been suspended. Only a show cause has been given to 7 officials. Only a show cause to 7 officials. I want you to tell me today, is that action?
If you let me speak.
You have the floor.
I don't want to be cut off. Okay, let me tell you that the latest is, now as you know, Kot Lakhpat jail comes under the provincial government, the Punjab government. the Punjab Chief Minister, Najam Sethi, has ordered a judicial inquiry. This is the latest, and the earlier inquiry that was conducted by Mubashir has been rejected. So, as I mentioned, I do not know how much time this inquiry will take.
Sir, that
But
now,
considering that it's going to be a judicial inquiry, I think positive results. Now,
Sir,
the only thing that Pakistan can do now, and I would very strongly recommend to the government of, at the federal level and at the provincial Punjab government level, is identify the culprits, whether they were the inmates instigated by the jail staff. Try them for murder and award deterrent punishment so that similar incidents do not take place again. This is the least that the Pakistan government can do to somewhat
so now let me ask you
itself.
this. No, I want to now ask you this, Brigadier Javed Hussain. Please hear me.
Go ahead,
Since
go
you
ahead.
since you say bad language is being used, which I completely reject, I think the use of the word butchery is appropriate and not bad language. My question to you, sir, is this.
Look.
Should our country... No, 1 second, sir. How would you describe, Brigadier Javed Hussain? The manner in which...
Describe.
How would you describe? Give me the appropriate English word that you would use to describe the manner in which... The manner in which this man has been killed.
On such incidents, you want government of Pakistan...
8 seconds.
Yes?
Call it anything. Butchery, call it butchery, call it a brutal assault,
I
call it
object to
a
this.
murderous assault. It was
Sir,
such.
sir, the fact-
it was a
Call it
murderous
Talibani assault.
which led to his murder.
Sir,
it's as simple as that.
Why is your
Forget
government? Why is your government calling it a scuffle? That's the point. Why is your government calling it a
then you
scuffle? Why you say this? Now you
Can
say
I
this.
ask you
Brigadier
one
Javed
question?
Hussain, you called it a scuffle.
This is
That's the point.
no. This is something which your foreign minister should ask the Foreign Office of Pakistan. The
Sir,
Foreign
please,
Office.
it's your
spokesman.
foreign office.
This word.
Sir, it's your foreign office. Maruf
This-
Raza
this
wants to
word-
come in. 1 second. Let's hear hear all sides today, sir.
Arnab,
Yes, Maruf.
Arnab, I've heard various points of view. Obviously, I mean, the Pakistanis are going to be in a defensive mood, particularly the Air Marshal. Brigadier Javed has been on several times on our show. Brigadier Javed, sir, my first point to you is that you were very confident last week that when an inquiry had been... Sir, please hear me out, Air Marshal. Air Marshal, please hear me out. I've heard you patiently. Please show me the courtesy of hearing me out. Brigadier Javed last week was confident to say that the inquiry that was being ordered by under Major Tawhur Hussain would have given results, and the results would have been very clearly indicative of what happened, but the inquiry has turned out to be a sham. Now, I don't know how much the judicial inquiry will be able to probe further. I am drawn to the writings of various Western scholars and even Aisha Siddiqa, who wrote a while ago in Hindustan Times to say that across the board in Pakistan, the moderates like Brigadier Javed that we are dealing with are fewer and fewer in numbers, and they are now the fringe, and the majority in the mainstream are carrying hardline views. And if we were to go by what is there on the Twitter messages from right across Pakistan today, it is shameful to see that even the public, who we thought we could have a discourse and dialogue with, seems to be rabidly anti-Indian, and were using the Sarajit murder to project that it was something which Pakistan cannot be held accountable for, despite the fact, as the two distinguished ladies have brought out on the show, that enough warnings were given. There was a case in point in the case of Chamel Singh, and still nothing was done. Now to say that the jail warden will be held responsible and not the government of Pakistan or the government of Punjab, I think is expecting too much patience from India's side. Let me also remind you, sir, the two Pakistani guests who keep arguing that everything in Pakistan's powers were done, and they keep insinuating that Sarajit Singh was a terrorist when the trial was a sham. Under Article 9 of your constitution, it is very clear that when a man has served his full sentence for whatever reason, you cannot punish him a second time over. He had served 50% more than the full life sentence that you would want a prisoner to go through. And you are still wanting to say that Sarabjit deserved further punishment. Wasn't this an opportunity, sir? I want to ask the two distinguished military officers there. Wasn't this an opportunity for you to turn the tide with India, send Sarabjit's body back, show humanitarian concern, not be suspicious of intentions of a man who was lying terribly wounded and on his deathbed, that he'd bounce out of a hospital bed and go free from Pakistan's clutches, but give this an opportunity to improve relations with India.
Why didn't you take
Pakistan dug its heels in on an issue when the man, neither his family, had no choice but to plead again and again. And then you want good relations with India, sir? What could be the next step we could then look forward to from you?
And as an expression of sincerity, I would like to follow that up by asking either of our Pakistani guests or all of them together to tell me that even after Sarabjit's death, Pakistan is yet to take any action against the jail authorities. It was earlier reported that several Pakistani jail officials were suspended, but it is now known that that was an eyewash. Only notices were served to 7 of the officials. I have their names. So my question is to either our guest Brigadier Sharaf in Islamabad or to our guests in Karachi. Why should we believe you? Why should we believe you, sir, that you will act? Okay, Brigadier Sharaf wants to answer first. Yes, Brigadier Sharaf. Brigadier Sharaf, and then I come back to you, Air Marshal.
Anab, the issue is that Sarajit Singh has a very controversial record of spanning over a very long time. There were indications of mistaken identity, then there were indications whether he's going to be released or not. 2 Indian prisoners were released, Sarajit Singh and Kashmir Singh. And once Kashmir went back, he said that I was a spy. Sarajit Singh said that Sarajit Singh is a spy. So this did not help Sarajit Singh's case.
Sir, Sarajit did not say that Sarabjit is a spy. No, I want to contradict you. Sarajit did not say Sarabjit is a spy.
I have the press clippings.
No, you don't have it. Produce it.
He said it. I have the press clippings.
Sarajit did not say Sarabjit is a spy. You were completely wrong there. But please continue.
No, I'm not wrong. If you wish, I'll send you the press clippings also.
No, you have been unable to produce. He did not say that.
The point is, why did Sarabjit's case linger for so on? The issue in India and Pakistan has been that the consulates of India and Pakistan, the Indian consulate did not take enough interest for a very long time. Once we see the wailing and the crying of Sarabjit's sister, one feels really sorry, because Indian government started involving itself at a very, very late stage. Sir, had Indian consulate in Pakistan hired good lawyers for
was the Indian consulate providing security?
The case properly,
was the Indian consulate providing security at the jail?
As far as the notion of a mistaken identity is concerned, that could have been removed and it could have been settled for good, whether he is the one who carried out the blast in Pakistan, or indeed it is a
Brigadier
mistaken identity.
I want to answer him.
Both countries are to be blamed. The issue is that
Brigadier Sharaf,
yes,
one of our panelists has to leave. One of our panelists has to leave.
Even in the case of Sarajit Singh, it was a Pakistani human rights organization that discovered that the gentleman had already served a sentence in Pakistan
Brigadier Sharaf,
was overstaying in Pakistan.
Brigadier
Sharaf, up the case.
Brigadier Sharaf, I would like to get in 2 of our panelists. Meenakshi, before you, because Harsimrat Kaur has to go, I just want to make one point that in the case of Sarabjit, the police informed the witnesses that he was the culprit, which is the most disastrous and unbelievable thing to happen in any judicial system, which proves that he was convicted through a mockery of jurisprudence. You know about it, and I can challenge you point by point and fact by fact on the circumstances in which this man was convicted. But my point is...
That is exactly my point.
Sir,
if you feel so strongly about it, even after Sarabjit has died, may God give patience and happiness to the family which is so grieved. Our hearts are with them. You must engage lawyers in Pakistan and prove the point whether Sarabjit was a mistaken identity or not.
An attempt. What you are saying is, let's share the blame. Harsimrat Kaur, before you go, would you accept Brigadier Sharaf's argument, which is making from Islamabad tonight, that let's share the blame.
I think it's becoming more and more absurd and reaching new lows. First of all, how can he say both governments are to blame? The person has been butchered and murdered in your country under your supervision. So the blame lies squarely on you for what happened to him. Or how can he even talk about blaming any other country?
You people could not even hire a proper lawyer for him. That for over 10 years, that poor man never had a lawyer in Pakistan.
According to you,
till the human rights
not giving a
organizations in
proper lawyer
Pakistan
and murdering the guy, it can be equated the same. Also, if we could not provide a lawyer, does that give you the right to have him butchered and murdered?
Brigadier Sharaf, I don't understand what you are saying.
Sarajit Singh has been saying that his life is in danger because
you will not understand because you don't want to understand.
No, I completely am capable of understanding. Thank you very much. I know. Let me make a similar.
Was he murdered? Was an Indian? One second, Arnav. Just let me ask him one question. Was an Indian prisoner butchered mercilessly on your land, in your jail, under the supervision of your jail authorities and your government? Yes or no? And if he was, then who's at fault? Is it India or is it Pakistan? I think it's as simple as that.
It needs to be condemned. It needs to be investigated. And the culprits need to be punished according to the law of Pakistan.
Sir, I feel...
That is my...
Sir, I feel...
Absolutely.
The people who have murdered...
So
the people who have shown negligence need to be punished.
Brigadier Sharaf, you say, I don't want to understand. I don't know whether you want to understand. The fact is, are your jail authorities so terrible at their job? I know the Pakistani army is in a bad shape, but are your jail authorities also so bad at their job that 2 Indian prisoners are allowed to die?
Is not in a bad shape.
That 2 Indian prisoners are allowed to die in 2 months? Tell me one Pakistani. No, I would like to ask you, Brigadier Sharaf, I don't want to raise my voice, Brigadier Sharaf.
Who are totally paralyzed because of
Brigadier Sharaf.
We have received dead bodies from India of prisoners who have come here as skeletons. So it's been going on. Just don't blame Pakistan. India needs to share half the blame.
Brigadier Sharaf, I want to ask you.
Can you recall the last time a Pakistani prisoner has been butchered by Indian prisoners?
Exactly. I want to ask you, Brigadier Sharaf. Tonight here on the Newhsour, Brigadier Sharaf, I want you to name one Pakistani who has been killed like Sarajit was killed. I want you to name one Pakistani who has been killed in the way Chamal Singh was killed. One Pakistani who was killed like Sarajit or Chamal Singh was killed. I will rest my case.
But I can quote two incidents.
Name one
Pakistani returning mad to Pakistan.
Name one Pakistani.
One Pakistani returning totally paralyzed. And one Pakistani returning in a body bag with only bones.
Sir, please don't make fiction. Don't make fiction because you cannot answer my question. Meenakshi Lekhi, I don't find one Pakistani killed in the manner that this man Sarajit has been killed. Meenakshi is responding to you, Brigadier Sharaf. Yes, after that I'm going back to our guest in Karachi. Meenakshi.
Brigadier Sharaf, under the rule of law, a punishment needs to be given to a person under what the law says, number one. So there has been a violation. Number two, a fact which is not coming forward is that as per the barrister of your country, this gentleman was on life sentence. He was not on death roll. He was on life sentence. And he had already served his life sentence much earlier and he was continuing to languish in jail. And this person, while should have been released, was butchered to death. Wow. And this method of killing, I don't think is applicable under the Pakistani jurisprudence or penal law, that you kill a person in this particular manner. And if this person, because this person could not have been killed, and then there is a design. The design, I say, because same jail, second incidence in 3 months' time.
Yes.
And that is why I call it a design. I call it a design, and I call it that authorities are colluding. Number three, which I wanted to make the point was that in our country, better medical facilities were available, and had the intention been right, our doctors, our medical facilities where thousands of your people and citizens are coming, and we are still not getting provoked by your inaction in this fashion. Okay. Now, the same medical facility should have been made available to this gentleman. And one more thing. Under the Evidence Act, I'm sorry, I am not finished. Let me put one more point across to you so that you can answer it. The gentleman on whose witness this person was convicted has admitted on camera that he was forced to make that statement by the government council. How do you deal with that kind of judicial system? So ISI controls everything in your country, not just the borders or the army, but Interior Ministry along with the judiciary.
Brigadier Sharaf, with your permission, I'd like to go across to our guests in Karachi to answer that, because I haven't gone to them for some time. Coming back to you, Brigadier Sharaf.
No, I have certain statistics related to the question she has asked. Sir, the first one is that last year, one of your correspondents in Pakistan, Mr. Ghosh, wrote in July 212 that Indian prisoners in Pakistani jails are treated well. Now that the body of Sarajit Singh has arrived in India,
sir,
it will be noticed that he was fed well, he was looked after well. Even Sarajit Singh and Kashmir Singh, once they went back to India, they said they were treated properly.
Sir, please.
This is one.
Sir,
secondly,
you've not even
Sarajit Singh
received
was on the
body.
death row.
You're not even answering the question.
Sarajit was on a death row, and his death punishment had been, it had been repeatedly put away.
Sir, he had served his sentence. What are you saying? Brigadier Sharaf, please check your facts. He had served his sentence.
That sentence was commuted to life imprisonment.
No, one second. He had served his sentence. So what are you saying, sir? And the fact of the matter is this.
He was on death row.
I think Brigadier Javed Hussain wants to come back. But I am asking here directly. The fact is,
and if he was on death row, then the cell has to be a solitary cell.
Absolutely.
If a person is not secure in jail, who is secure in Pakistan?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and the fact is this.
This ugly incident took place.
The fact is,
while they were exercising and strolling in the open place.
Rubbish.
Otherwise, this
rubbish, sir. That's complete rubbish. The fact of the matter is, your official sources. 1 minute, Meenakshi. Meenakshi, 1 minute. Your official sources have said that the main accused who attacked Sarajit Singh had fought with him a few days ago. In other words, this was not some spontaneous act of revenge. It was premeditated butchery. I want to go back to GD Bakshi. Okay, Brigadier Javed Hussain.
At least it was negligence on part of at minimum, it was negligence on part of the jail staff, and at maximum, it could have been a connivance.
Absolutely not.
That is what needs to be
investigated.
investigated, and that is what we condemn, even in Pakistan.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The death row prisoner Amir Aftab tried to attack Sarabjit a few days ago. He said that I will kill you. After that, why was there no security provided to him? That's a very simple and basic question. This was a premeditated murder and the authorities were aware of it. Brigadier Javed Hussain. Brigadier Javed Hussain wants to come in. Yes, Brigadier. Brigadier Javed Hussain first. After that, General
Bakshi. Give me a chance.
Brigadier Hussain.
I just have 2 points.
Yeah.
One is, it is said that the warning, the threat that was given to Sarabjit was not only conveyed to the government of Pakistan, but also to the government of India. Why didn't the government of India act on it? Number one. Number two, stop seeing the ISI and the SSG behind every bush in India. Get rid of this phobia. My last question, you have spent 7-8 days on Sarabjit.
In Pakistan, not in India.
Hold on, let me finish my point. You have spent 7 to 8 days, not one day have you discussed the whole day or the whole week the treatment meted out to the corpses of the paramilitary soldiers in their fight against insurgents, Maoist and Naxalite
Sir, are you so short of argument that you are trying to digress? No, one second. One second. Are you so short of argument that you are trying to digress? Sir, are you so short? Have you conceded? Are you conceding therefore tonight, Brigadier Javed Hussain? Are you conceding tonight? Are you conceding tonight that you have no case on the Sarabjit issue? Because I can quote for you that there are Pakistani media reports that your caretaker government made up its mind not to allow Sarabjit to be taken anywhere for treatment, but chose to announce its decision only after the new government takes over. In other words, Brigadier Javed Hussain, I have proved to you. 1 minute, sir. I have one sentence. Listen to it. It will be uncomfortable, but I want you to listen to it. That the butchery and the inaction that followed it was a result was a result of Pakistan's twisted form of vote bank politics ahead of your general elections. That is why you did not allow him to die in his own country.
Why did we leave Chishti?
This is your twisted vote bank politics, sir. This is your twisted vote bank politics that you did not allow him to die. And Brigadier Hussain, you are saying today all kinds of things. Did you or did you not? No, did you or did you not, Brigadier Hussain? 1 minute. Brigadier Hussain, I challenge you.
I do not wish to argue. I wish to discuss. I am prepared to discuss.
Yes.
The whole day.
Yes.
The whole week.
Yes.
The whole month.
So let me ask you.
Anytime you want.
Brigadier Hussain, you are
But
not.
remember this.
You are avoiding my
Special
question.
Discuss and do nothing.
Special service
No
group
action.
Brigadier
never
Hussain.
concedes.
Brigadier Hussain, ask me. Answer
Yes.
me today. Answer me today. 1 second. 1 second. Brigadier Hussain.
Yes, yes,
Brigadier
yes.
Hussain, you've taken this personally. I will still continue
Any
to ask
number
you.
of questions.
I then take my question. You are an army man. Take my question. My question to
Yes,
you
I
is
am.
this. My question to you is this. Did you or did you not, on this channel, from the same studio where you are now from, a couple of days back say that your country should have the humanity to let Sarabjit die in India? Did you or did you not? Yes or no?
Yes, of course.
Then where was the humanity,
I
sir?
have said that.
Then where was the humanity, sir?
I have said it. Let me talk. Let me talk. I have said so in so many programs of yours that the government of Pakistan has blundered. This was a great opportunity. I totally agree with Maroof. A great opportunity for Pakistan
And
to
by the
earn
way-
goodwill in
No,
India.
no, and by the way,
And
Brigadier Hussain,
in my second, hold on. In
No,
my
you are
second
getting
program on
unnecessarily
Times
worked up.
Now, I mentioned it very clearly. He should not only be moved to India if his medical condition permits. If not, then whenever his condition, Indian doctors may be brought in. I mean, yes, I have said so. This has been my position right from the start.
Sir, you are
on
asking-
humanitarian grounds.
In other words, you
forget
admit
about
to-
the past, whether or not he was a case of mistaken identity or not.
General
I do
Bakshi-
not wish to go into that.
General Bakshi wishes to respond. In other words, you are admitting tonight that your government
more-
and your institutions lack humanity. General Bakshi one. Brigadier Javed
Any more
Hussain.
questions?
Brigadier Hussain, I have not
Any more
finished.
questions?
I have
I
one more
think
question for
Arnab-
you. I have one more question for you,
Yeah, go
but
ahead.
after General Bakshi,
Ask.
responds to you. General Bakshi wishes to respond
General
to you, Brigadier.
Bakshi has ISI phobia.
Whatever you may say, sir, ISI
You know,
phobia, ISI is not so consequential.
thank you,
Brigadier
thank
General
you.
Bakshi.
Thank you. But can I now go ahead with the discussion on hand?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Arnab, what I would like to state is that Sarabjit was in the Pakistani prisons for 22 years. All this while, our people were fighting to see that he gets that clemency. Now, the situation altered materially after the hanging of Ajmal Kasab and Afzal Guru. That is the point in time that he started receiving threats to the effect that they would take revenge on this hapless prisoner. He conveyed it to us through his relations, through his lawyer,
Yes.
and through other sources. There are intercepts available with the Indian intelligence to the effect that people outside the Kot Lakhpat jail and inmates within were in conversation on the elimination of Sarabjit. What this government has done is an extrajudicial killing. If they suspected that he was a terrorist, and the unfortunate fact is that even as per their own levels of jurisprudence, there were doubts, there were serious doubts of the miscarriage of justice, as Lekhi has brought out very correctly. The prime witness has gone on camera, on television to state that he was forced. You are sentencing a man on fabricated evidence. Nevertheless, even then, if they had followed the due process of law and hanged him, we would not have been able to complain in the manner that we have to do now, because they chose the horrible method of getting an extrajudicial killing done. Now, this theory doesn't wash. You see, every time there is a terrorist incident here, it is blamed on non-state actors, and we are told both the states suffer equally from the same malaise. I'm sorry, it's not that way. You raise those non-state actors, you send them here. In the instant case, it was the court, it was the jail authorities who can only do this kind of an action at the instigation of the ISI. And I am not seeing an ISI behind every Indian bush. I am talking of the ISI and
Air Marshal Abid Rao's turn to respond to you. No, Air Marshal Abid Rao's, 1 minute, General Bakshi, Air Marshal Abid Rao's turn to respond, but I want Air Marshal Abid Rao to answer the question that has been put by Brigadier Javed Hussain.
I would like to come in after General has finished his.
One short question to you, which I also want you to answer. My question to you is, the gentleman sitting next to you, the esteemed Brigadier Javed Hussain, asks me that what was your government doing? I want to bounce that question back to you. I say our government was putting through diplomatic channels. What do you want our government to do? Roll our tanks into Lahore? Is that what our government was acting as it should, through diplomatic channels? How can you ask a question, what was your government doing? He was in your custody, sir. He was in your custody. And clearly the methods that we use...
Hold on, sir, hold on.
He was in your custody, sir.
This is a question that Sarajit's family is asking you.
I am asking you, Sarabji, I am asking you, he was in your custody. What we have to ask our government, we will. You answer my question.
Well, if you let me
he was in your custody.
Yes, Air Marshal. Sir, just one minute.
Yes, Air Marshal Abid Rao, please.
Look. Yes, Mr. Goswami, stay within your socks. Number one.
I am firmly within my socks.
You people believe in theory of inverse nationalization. You make one statement, facts, and then you draw a conclusion of your own choice, which has nothing to do with the facts. Now, coming to this incident, as I said earlier, everybody coming on Indian channels has said it is very unfortunate and it is very, very tragic, and it should not have happened. Now, what do you want from government of Pakistan? I will tell you what I want from government of India now.
I want you to
government
answer
of Pakistan is doing its
I'll tell you what
normal
we want from government
legal
of Pakistan.
follow-up of an
I'll
unfortunate
tell you what
incident.
we want.
I wish any one of your esteemed speaker had said that in order to avoid such incidents in future, let's get together and make a procedure so that, in case every 3 months or so you exchange lists of such prisoners who spent
that
lives
is not the punishment for murder.
Not as big a crime for the kind of sentence they serve. You had asked earlier any Pakistani treatment maltreated in India. Let me tell you, 1965, Sipahi Maqbool Hussain kept without declaring in your jail for 42 years.
Sir, I think you have conceded
that. He was beaten up every day. You didn't have the courtesy to declare him a prisoner of war of a Sipahi rank, and you keep him for 42 years.
You did not have
what
the
kind of
courtesy to declare
human rights
our prisoners of the 71 war.
You have a history of much worse human rights than what Pakistan has.
Even today they are in
but
jail.
let's move ahead. And moving ahead means let's make a procedure.
By the way, sir,
71
one minute. Before, I think we are getting responses. No, I'll tell you one thing. I think we are getting responses. Now, Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao. Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao.
As I said earlier,
Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao.
That in time, we will stop at
Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao. Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, before I allow our two Indian panelists to respond to you. 1 minute.
Let me tell them
One minute. I find it strange that instead of answering my direct questions, 7 of my questions out of 10, I've only asked 7 of my 10 questions, I've got no straight answer. I've been told to keep my feet within my socks. My feet are on the ground and my head is on my shoulders. I asked 7 questions and none of the 3 Pakistani panelists have had to answer any of my questions. You're only putting counter questions back to me, sir. Ask yourself, why are you putting counter questions to me, sir? Answer my questions. And those pictures there of Sarabjit's body landing in his hometown today, the whole country, sir, is behind that family.
You have done it long time back.
Shoot!
Bring your tanks if that is what satisfies you.
I have 7 questions. General and Air Marshal and Brigadier, with the greatest of respect to you, sir, I ask 7 questions. I get not one answer. You can throw as much abuse at me as you want or counter questions. I will still ask my 8th question. My next, Meenakshi Lekhi and Maruf Raza wish to respond to you. Meenakshi Lekhi.
You don't want to listen to logic. That is your problem.
I heard you. Now hear Meenakshi Lekhi.
No, I'll tell you what the logic is, sir. Will you, if you have the patience to hear the logic? If you want to hear the logic, then a criminal needs to be punished for the acts of criminality. And if these people have murdered, the murder is proven beyond doubt, these people should be hanged in your jails, and give us a list of people who you have hanged. We will then be satisfied, and that is what India wants. A punishment for murder is death penalty, and they should be given death penalty. I will like to see how many people get the death penalty.
I have breaking news for our guests from Pakistan. May I share it with them, please?
Can't you wait till that time?
No, I have breaking news for you, General.
My position from day one.
That's all right, sir. I've got breaking news now for you.
Identified.
I will read out this press report.
Identified.
I will read out this press report.
To be awarded deterrent
I will read out this press report. Hear me, sir. And those are pictures from Sarajit's hometown of his body being brought. And I can only tell you the entire country, all of India, 1.21 billion Indians, is that family. This is a moment of unification, and this is an inflection point in India-Pakistan relations. For far too long has India extended a hand of tremendous generosity towards Pakistan. And today, sir, the news is this, that the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan has said that Sarajit Singh could not have been fatally attacked without the knowledge and support of prison guards and the higher authorities. They have said that we want action against all those who took part in the assault. And it has gone on to say not even the most naive person can believe that a prisoner like Sarabjit in a death cell inside a jail can be targeted in such a brutal and sadistic assault by prisoners without the knowledge and active support of the authorities. Sir, this is your human rights watchdog, not mine. Your human rights watchdog. They have put a mirror on your face.
And Arnav, what a contrast it forms. What a contrast it forms, Arnav, with the way we defended Ajmal Kasab. 54 crore rupees worth was spent on that man, whom the whole world had seen shooting innocent civilians on the railway station. A confirmed killer, seen by millions of eyes across the globe. We kept him safe. We also have lunatics and dangerous prisoners in our jails. We could easily have fed him to the wolves. He could also have been torn apart limb by limb. But the government went to the inordinate length of inviting ridicule by spending 54 crore rupees. If you want to safeguard a prisoner, if you have the intent to safeguard a prisoner, that is the way you do.
Where do we move from here?
So where you move from here,
You start quoting
line up all those who carried out the act of butchery. Line them all up and give them the punishment they deserve.
And give them death
Put them on the death row.
Of course.
Put them on the death
You are
row.
saying this now. I said this on day one.
And what has happened, Brigadier Javed Hussain? Not even a suspension.
And what about Jamil Singh?
But the governments have to do something more.
Brigadier Javed, may I like to tell you one thing? May I just draw attention to one aspect?
There is no procedure
Brigadier
which exists
Javed,
there.
may I draw attention to one aspect? You know, the point is, this is not a one-off incident. I'm very glad the Air Marshal brought in the point of perspective. It is not a one-off incident. This particular series of incidents started with the beheading. There is one beheading, there is one torture to death, Jamil Singh, there is one removal of organs, now this is the third. What we are talking of is a pattern of behavior. I know it is very difficult for our Pakistani interlocutors to defend this particular action, and they have not. In all fairness, I would say that they have not.
Why don't we move ahead?
It doesn't stop here.
Make procedure. Tell your government. I will tell my government that let's sit down.
Which will change
this does not
behavior.
No, sir,
It will have to change outcomes.
We will not sit down till we get the scalp of these people.
Punishment to perpetrators.
I think,
sir, let me just tell him one thing. That
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mr. Goswami, you just talked about, elections and using this point for somebody in his own favor. You see the manifesto of all our parties, not a single one has anti-India element, which used to be once upon a time, and your parties carry even today. Hate Pakistan policy. Your media is logged onto that. That
Sir,
any
I'm
small
sorry.
incident, it is blown out of proportion as if we are going to war tomorrow.
This
Have
is
a heart.
not a small incident.
Let's look at
please.
it. Pakistani people don't hate India or Indians. But this is the impression I get from
Remember
your channel
Chishti,
that
we
you are
sent him
not
back.
going to
Sir, I think you are
spring-loaded to such
completely.
positions.
Sir, I think you are
we
completely
can sit down
mistaken.
and exchange lot of
I think you
information
are
on this.
completely
If you wish
mistaken.
to-
No, one second.
I'm sorry, that is their pattern.
No,
Arnab,
I
let me
want to ask
expose
you.
one more.
No, I want to ask
What-
you.
what
That
you
is
do
their
to Sipai
pattern.
Maqbool Hussain
They
first
first
answer
kill
that,
and then they start
Dr.
talking.
Chishti.
So they will always talk softly, but they will act in a brutal manner. We do not want any talks with them till we see the results. Till they change their direction, we do not wish to talk to them.
No, I
That
want-
is the message that needs to be
Correct.
sent to them.
Marshal-
You can't be talking to these
Correct.
people
No.
because
No,
this
if
is
you-
a pattern. You first kill, then start talking. Then kill, then start talking.
Our direction
We
is
do
very
not want to
correct.
fall into this
We
trap.
are not
And this
at
is
all a
nonsense.
misled
Aman
nation.
ki Asha has failed in this country.
The fact of the matter is very simply
If you
this.
wish to,
When
They are
if you
rogue.
wish to digress,
nobody is digressing.
should be-
Brigadier Javed Hussain.
No, this is not at all
Brigadier,
our pattern.
Brigadier Javed
You should be
Hussain.
angrier.
Brigadier Javed Hussain, let me tell you, a convicted murderer called Mr.
I'm-
Chishti. 1 second. A convicted murderer called Mr. Chishti, who was more than 80 years old, was granted bail in April 2012. He was a convicted murderer, a murderer
sent
with a
back.
capital M. Those are his pictures. And do you know why he was granted bail? Because we, as a far more generous and mature democracy, felt that if we release a man like him because of his age, then perhaps we send a message out to the people of Pakistan that we can improve relations. We sent him back. And today, you have sent Sarajit and Chamal Singh in body bags. You have responded by sending Sarajit and Chamal Singh in body bags for return for our gesture.
And why should we forget their misdeeds?
And the question is, Maruf, my question is to
It is
Maruf.
the Pakistanis who
I'm
brought
sorry,
back
they need to be
Indian
remembered.
crews from Somalia.
While dealing with
Maruf,
It was not
Pakistanis.
the Indians who did it.
Maruf.
So please don't forget all that.
Sir, I've got no... Maruf, what is the impact of this? What is going to be the impact on this if Pakistan continues to be in denial? If there is no action for political or whatever reasons, I want you, Maruf, to summarize for our guests from Pakistan and across the nation, what will be the impact of the butchery of Sarabjit?
diplomatic relations.
Arnab,
Invade Pakistan.
I think the immediate impact is going to be, and we've seen some of that in the parliament today, when the opposition parties chose to walk out because of the government's inaction in dealing aggressively with both sides of our neighborhood, where issues have been evolving and where people are not getting satisfactory responses. So I think the government's going to come under a great deal of pressure to pull the brakes in terms of the bilateral dialogue process. And I'm quite convinced, much as Pakistanis may like to flatter themselves, that they are going to be, quite live with an India which doesn't want to talk to them. But in a world today where the Americans have given up on the Pakistanis, despite the fact the Pakistanis having a long history of alliance with them, the Chinese are now embarrassed to deal with them, the Saudis have abandoned them, Pakistan's only hope, and this is, I'm quoting Ahmed Rashid, an eminent sociologist of Pakistan, is to build ties and bridges with India. But with this kind of a response, Pakistan's not going to be able to build bridges with India. The Air Marshal keeps quoting the case of one Jawan of 1965 war who was apparently mistreated in India. But Pakistan's failed to answer the repeated requests of 53 families from India whose husbands and brothers and kin are lying unrecorded, unattended, unacknowledged in Pakistani jails as prisoners of war. We need answers to that.
93,000
And
we
finally,
returned.
what is most disappointing to me, that we thought there was hope, at least in our interaction with civil society. But barring moderates like Brigadier Javed Hussain, we have people in Pakistan, civilian society, and the institutions like the armed forces and the police, which have now adopted the culture of the jihadis. We are now facing a situation which is a state which I'm sorry to say is a functional anarchy, and the arms of the state are completely now infected by the virus of jihad. which is a very sorry state of affairs. And I think New Delhi needs to revisit its entire relationship with Pakistan.